Hello, chums, and welcome to the first mailbag of 2024. You've kept your emails coming. Oh, yes, go on.
Before we start, I just want to say I've got an announcement to make. I'm coming out of retirement.
Oh,
I've retired from retiring.
Oh, that's good for you, mate. It's about
my
time.
big announcement. Yeah. I just thought, it's now's the time. So
that's fair.
Yeah, well, I'd like to announce that I'm retiring, except I'm going to carry on doing YouTube podcasts and streams and the Triforce podcast and all the stuff I did before.
Okay,
right.
Good.
So you're just retiring from making those really awkward jack-off videos that I've seen circling around on various hubs.
I know everyone's broken up about it, but we're gonna get through this together.
We gotta get through it. Yeah, we gotta get through it. All right, do you guys want an email?
Yeah, hit me. I'm ready. I've never been more ready, actually.
Okay, this is from Josh.
Okay.
Hello. Does Sips have any family that live or work in a suburb of Vancouver, British Columbia? If so, ask him to tell that person, who looks exactly like him, that I was unhappy with the service he provided at the dealership.
I'll tell you what, I do.
Is working at a fucking.
I don't have any family, but a guy that I grew up with, I think, lives in that neck of the woods, and we look eerily similar, even though we're not related. And I mean, it's a big place. I doubt it's him, but it could be him. I'm not in touch with him anymore, though. Like it's been a good long while, but it'd be funny if that was the case. I doubt it very highly that it is, but you never know. Yeah.
That's true.
Because he does live out that way, for last I heard. Unless
it could have been him.
You never know.
Could have. You do indeed never know.
Yeah.
So this is an email about targeted ads, which we must have spoken about targeted ads at some point. I've had about 15 emails about targeted ads. This is an interesting one. I work as an engineer for a broadcaster-operated streaming service in Europe and deal with, among other things, targeted advertising. Last mailbag episode, you had mail from someone who mentioned that they got worse advertising since they turned off targeting, and I felt this might be on purpose by Google. That listener was totally right in the outcome, but wrong in the reasoning. Targeted ads are way more valuable to advertisers and therefore generally fetch a premium. When you're buying premium ad space, you tend to see better production values, higher quality of the ads, and so on. Most reputable brands only want to target their demographic and are fine paying a premium for targeting. The only buyers of ad space that don't care about targeting are people who have very low budgets, are selling crap, or are often semi-scams or similar.
Right.
This means that if you don't consent to targeted advertising, you are likely to receive much worse ads as a result. I can also add, that if you are streaming live TV today from a broadcaster, you are likely to get targeted ads in the ad break. This is known as addressable TV or live ad replacement. While this is often transparent to the users, it just looks like a normal ad break, provides the broadcasters much higher revenue per ad sold. So there you go.
We get a lot of localized ads, like even Google ads. Like I'll be on a website or whatever, and then I'll get an ad for a local place, which I always find funny, but it's been like I get how it works. I'm not blown away by the technology or whatever. It's kind of funny, like you're on.
It is kind of funny because we're sort of used to the TV. I mean, obviously, all ads throughout time have been targeted, inverted commas, in a sense that. Well, in a sense that, if you choose to run your adverts during Home and Away or Neighbours or during the football, of course, there's going to be different ads, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you put your billboard or put your bus advert, they each have a slightly different audience, right?
Slightly different, but like ITV over here has some target, like local ads. Like instead of showing national ads, there'll be like a segment where they'll show local ads. And also when the news transitions from the national news to like the localized news or whatever, we have like our own local news on the BBC and on ITV. That's pretty standard stuff.
And it goes without saying that there are the internet has obviously got lots of different ways to track you and what you do and what you're interested in. And oftentimes when you do a Google search, of course, the Google ads that you're going to get will be related to that. I'll search up a flipping, book or something that someone's recommended or a movie that you've recommended, Flax, and then, within a day, I'll have an advert for that appearing, or especially board games. That's a very common one I've found.
Okay,
I think it's interesting as well to think that when you watch ads during the daytime, they are almost exclusively targeted at old people. Like if you watch actual live TV, which I haven't done in a very long time, But when you do, like if I'm at my mum's or something, she's got the telly on, it's all adverts for funeral expenses. Although they don't call it funeral expenses, they call them, and of course, helping our family out and alleviating worry about those final expenses.
Yeah.
They refer to them as those final expenses.
Those final expenses, yeah.
But it's all like health stuff and old stuff.
Yeah. I know we come back to this a lot, and it's somewhat related. But with that, like with YouTube and the content that it serves up, I got another one for you guys. It's loosely related to this, so sorry, it's a little bit of a sidetrack. My recommended stuff is, because I've been playing Hearthstone Battlegrounds, I get a couple of Hearthstone videos, I get a couple of farming sim videos, I get a couple of City Skylines videos. Dotted in there every once in a while, I'll have some videos of like live farming, like they're doing a huge forage harvest for silage or whatever. It's always German. Very occasionally I get a couple of Top Gear videos, and I think it's because of the crossover with farming and Clarkson's farm and stuff like that. Okay. But my recommended shorts are wild. Like it's nothing that. Okay, I've just given you like an overview of the kind of videos it's recommending. So why is shorts recommending in a club, fire emoji, first time shuffling in heels, fire emoji, thumbs up, and it's just a picture of a woman. But these are all like really short videos, and so the other day I was like, whatever, I'm gonna click on one. I need to see why this is recommending, and it's just 10 seconds of a really hot babe looking good, and that's it. And it's got like millions and millions of views, and I just thought, well, I mean, it's good that they recommend me this stuff, like every once in a while, sure, but I still don't understand. Like, are those just really popular videos, and that's why it's offering them to you?
There are
it's nothing,
millions of factors that go.
It's
into
nothing
this.
related to what I'm watching, because
I
don't even watch content like this.
Algorithmically driven, all of this stuff,
Yeah.
And even things like watch time and how long you hover over it, or whether your mouse goes over it. Like these types of things are very it's very kind of, and it knows what areas of the screen people tend to look at, and so it knows how long things that are. There's so many levels.
I tell you what, I get served up a lot as well. I get served up Factorio speed runs, like world record speed runs.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, you're into
and
that
I
stuff.
always end up fucking watching them.
Well,
and a Factorio speed run is not something that like the world record is like 1:30 or whatever. It's like 3 hours. I think like the best time is like just over 2 hours or something. And I
Did you see Spiff's Factorio one?
No.
You haven't seen it.
I don't like Factorio.
He got like 800 people to do it.
Wow.
Oh, like a mega server.
Yeah, to try and do it.
Oh, wow. I should watch that. Actually,
to do it real fast. Yeah, it's really interesting.
All right, this one's called Canal Boat! ! So I felt I better shout it. Long-time fan.
Yeah, fuck, I
I'm a
remember the canal.
34-year-old woman, who lives on a canal boat. After hearing the last episode, I thought you might like to know what it's like for a full-time continuous cruiser boater.
What would you refer to yourself as in that situation? A canaler?
I think they just did. She just
did. A canalist.
No, she literally just
a canalist.
A cruiser boater. That's why she said that. First, some context. I live in London and only have to move my boat every 2 weeks, maybe a mile or half a mile down the canal. I could charge my laptop and my phone from my batteries, no problem. I don't really use anything like a hairdryer or microwave or anything that draws lots of power, which I honestly don't need or miss. It's also lovely and warm in winter with my diesel heater on. Are there downsides? Yes. It takes some manual labor to keep the boat running with emptying toilets, filling water tanks, using locks, but I also stay fit and healthy doing it, which in return improves my mental health. After paying my loan back, I'll be living rent-free in London in my own space and waking up to beautiful, serene views. It's incredibly peaceful, and I've learned so many new skills like electrics, mechanics, and woodworking. The community is also wonderful, which is something that is increasingly rare in housing. I'd also much prefer to put my money back into something that will increase in value as I add more to it, rather than give my money renting to a landlord, who quite frankly 99% of them are a stain of society. And I'd love to see the day they are stripped of their assets and made to live like the rest of us. Just to add, Lewis, dating apps are trash. If you want to meet someone properly, do it through your interests. I also
do
think
it on a canal.
I also think you should talk about your work with dates. Personally, I wouldn't give you a second look on a dating app. You are good looking, but I'm queer, so women just win every time. Sorry. However, as I know how chaotic, funny, and generous you can be, and how you've dealt with serious issues within the Yogscast, I'd ride you until my boat capsizes. Best wishes, Amaya. There you go.
Wow. Well, there you
go. It's a great email, and then it got really weird.
It got really weird at the end, but maybe in a good way. Maybe Lewis will bank that one. The weirdness.
Yeah,
of that one.
That's just for me, guys. You should have just forwarded that on, people.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Oh my gosh!
Holy
Thank
crap.
you, Amaya. No, I mean, I don't know if the person that I know who's got this boat has been freezing their ass off. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's.
What about like
maybe it's
one of those
different.
little electric oil heaters? You know, it's got like the.
Yeah, because I didn't think because it's quite an enclosed space, but I guess it is
You
in
just
the
have an
water,
exhaust.
and I think
It might
it's
not
like
be insulated very well.
I don't know if it is. I guess it's water cooled. I guess because the water keeps going by, right?
I mean,
I suppose,
I
yeah.
don't think it's going to have the same level of insulation that a house is going to have.
This is what I was
And if
thinking.
you've got like bricks sort of absorb heat and retain it, don't they? I think if any heat that goes out the bottom of the boat, which isn't going to be much, it's mainly going to go out the top, is going to be lost.
I imagine it's like living in a car or a big car that and
Yeah,
those get fucking
they
freezing
do.
overnight.
I mean, I assume there's some kind of insulation in the walls of the boat and everything like that, but it's not as much as a house. You think how thick the walls
Maybe
of
it
your house
gets
are.
hot quickly and cold quickly.
Yeah, probably. But has a little heater, small space, so easy to heat. But yeah, either way. This is about
interesting.
This is
That's
a
really interesting to
throwback.
hear.
This is a throwback email to
How
several
far
years
back
ago.
are we? Okay.
Years.
Jeez.
Let me see if you guys recognize this title. The King's Casino in Rozvadov.
Yes, I remember this. You were
Oh,
talking
God,
about playing
yes,
poker
when you went
in
there.
Streaming
in
table.
Eastern Europe with a bunch of shady characters. yeah.
Exactly.
We got card table, we got
We got
blackjack table,
blackjack.
we got streaming
We have
table.
streaming table. This is from Jay, a tiny Todger haver. Just today, I was speaking to my brother-in-law about the Jingle Jam Poker Night, and the conversation moved on to the fact that he was friends with quite a successful poker player in Europe. His friend has since stopped playing, to my knowledge, but instead has turned to commentating it. I asked where he was doing this, and my brother-in-law said somewhere on the border in Germany. This brought my mind straight back to an old podcast from 2017, where you were giving a trip report on your trip to the King's Casino in Rozvadov. After a bit of research, it turns out that is where he was talking about, and part of the World Series of Poker is being held in the King's Casino this year, so maybe the streaming table didn't work out, but something must have. And yeah, you could look the town up on Google Maps, and it looks terrible. But yeah, it's the King's Casino in Rozvadov. There you go.
Oh, that's reminded me. I wanted to look something up. Actually,
What are you looking up?
I just want to do a street view of an area of interest for me. It's of no interest to you guys, so carry on.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to do it really quickly.
Cool. Yeah, why not do it right now?
Yeah, it's a good time. Good
King's
time as
Resort.
any, really.
It does look pretty good, Flax, like visually. Like they've
really?
made a lot of effort to.
What do you like about it?
Well, I guess like the guy is has done a good job of trying to attract people there. Do you know what I mean? You do streaming table with the World Series of Poker here. Look, we can't do anything. You get the impression he's like one of those guys.
He's a real chancer.
Yeah,
right. But I mean, the reason that King's Casino is so popular. I mean, if you look at the town, this is exactly what it looks like. If you go on Street View and go just outside King's Casino, Rozvadov, the point is it's just across the border. So people want to go from Germany to Czech Republic to gamble. So he's literally put it on a little E-road, just sort of like a road, I guess. It's not far from Nuremberg. It's near Bavaria, so you've got a lot of big southern German gents.
Nice.
And that's it. They just go, it's literally the first town when you get outside Germany. So it's not like he's done this as some kind of, I mean, this is just, it's like a kind of a grift. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how can I suck in Germans to spend money here? And then all it is surrounded by massage parlors. Like, it's just a place for middle-aged dudes to go and gamble their hard-earned wages that their family are not going to get, and for the casino to do what casinos do and hoover up money. There's a place outside called Easy Money, which is a pawn shop. There are multiple. There's Chiquita Massage. There's one across the road, a massage place. It's not a nice place.
Nice.
I'm sure if I lived in Rozvadov, I would be pretty upset. Genuinely.
Do you think you would? Yeah. Do you think you would get held up with at gunpoint in some of these places?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then they're probably not so bad.
It definitely has the strip mall vibe. Do you know what I mean?
It's
that you know that American strip mall you see everywhere. Almost like that same. It's got that sort of one single. It's like only
the parking lagoon.
It's like 2-story max,
like the one from Better Call Saul. Like
exactly like that
with the Thai massage parlor and stuff.
All that.
Yeah.
It's got that vibe.
It's got
about
that vibe about it.
This one is called South Africa Wildlife Horror Stories.
Oh man.
Okay, hang on. Okay, you select the emails that get read out.
I do.
Right? Have you don't tailor them to your.
You're not filtering them out,
preferences,
is what he's
So
trying to say.
You do know that I probably get between episodes about 60 emails, 60 to 70 emails, sometimes more, sometimes less.
Good, that's good.
Which is great.
Can you imagine if we didn't get any?
That would be weird, yeah.
Yes, so the ones that I save, let me give you guys an example of one.
I'm only messing with you.
No, just this is for transparency's sake, so that you're aware of the ones I'm not reading out. I had about 20 emails this week about beer prices. Some of them are just one sentence listing the beer price where they live and how much it costs in some other place they've been. That's not really, when they're all so similar, I'm not going to pick those ones. Some of them are just people saying they like the podcast, which is nice, but again, I'm not going to read those out.
No.
Some of them are much too long, and some of them are just saying, hi, found this joke really funny on the previous podcast. One of them is from a guy asking why I don't just change ISPs, which is fucking hilarious. Well done, mate. You've exceeded yourself there.
Do you ever get one where the title's really interesting and then you click into the email and it just says you're a knob?
No, I haven't had that, but now I will. Thank you for that.
My email didn't
waste
get
a lot
through.
of my time. No. So I mean, for instance, I've got one here. If you want, we can just read this out blind. I have no idea if it's good or not.
No, don't do that. I'm just perfectly happy with your vetting process.
There was a pitch. This is based. Okay, this email is in response to Pyrian basically saying that he wouldn't go half of the world. There was a really funny Reddit post which was you going on holiday, and it was like a map of the world, and every continent was like crossed out. But like.
But Europe was crossed out, which is, I said I've traveled very widely in Europe. I love going on holiday in Europe.
Yeah, I don't want to outwardly agree with Flax, but inside I'm with Flax.
There are
as
no
well.
snakes.
There's a lot of places
scorpions.
that I just for various reasons I don't want to go to. I just don't think I'd enjoy them, because I have like some preconception that there's danger or something, or like in the back of my mind I know my wife wouldn't want to go to some of these places as well, which is like, is a factor in your decision making. But I'm pretty much there with you, Flax. Like I don't mind going around Europe, like parts of North America or whatever, but I'm not really overly interested in going anywhere else. Like I feel, especially at the age I'm at now, maybe when I was like in my 20s or whatever and more adventurous, but now I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to be left alone. I just want to stay home, and I just want to be in places that are like, home away from home, Like
I am well aware of that. And I'm never going to call you out and say like everyone calling me out, you are exactly the same as me in that regard. Yeah. I mean, there's no way that you're going to fucking go
I'm not going
to half the places that
I'm not
also
going to fucking deepest, darkest Peru and living and staying 2 weeks in a mud hut or whatever.
Living under a log or something. Exactly.
Yeah, with like tarantulas up my ass. There's no way I'm doing it.
Exactly. But it's like I am perfectly happy to be the punching bag for the mailbag, and I suppose for the podcast, because I do talk a lot of shit, and I tend to be quite final in my decision and the way I state stuff. Because I've made up my mind, and generally when I've made up my mind about doing or not doing something, that's it.
I just want you to know you're not alone, okay?
I appreciate that, brother. I really do.
So
here's one just literally plucked from the mailbag, unread. If it's shit, we can just cut it.
Okay.
Right? Rate the Sips family Christmas sickness. From the sounds of it, I think they had norovirus, aka the winter sickness bug. As the name suggests, it's prevalent this time of year. Generally just makes you vomit and or have diarrhea, but it's very transmissible.
Yeah. First of all, that's just not your family, is it, either, Sips, right?
No, it's my wife and her boyfriend's family, so I'm not sure.
The thing is, you can have genetic immunity, and Sips may be one of the chosen ones blessed with such genes. The reason I know this is because when I was a young teen, we went on a family holiday to Woolacombe and ended up getting a ferry to Lundy Island. After visiting, we went back to our lodge and decided to eat finger foods such as mini cheddars, cocktail sausages, and cheese and pineapple sticks. That evening, my sister fell sick, threw up, and went to bed early. Shortly thereafter, my mother and I followed suit, but spent the whole evening throwing up and shitting ourselves while waiting for the others to be done in the bathroom. I went through every pair of boxes I'd packed for the trip. My stepdad had thought this was completely fine and slept through it. Oh, sorry, my stepdad, though, was completely fine and slept through it all. It was on the local news a few days later that there'd been a norovirus outbreak on Lundy Island, and that the tourism company that runs the ferry and cafe knew but decided to operate as normal and keep stum.
Yeah.
Now, you may be wondering why I mentioned the finger food. On the way home, my stepdad decided we'd make a pit stop at Cheddar Gorge. Needless to say, the smell of cheese emanating from the big cheddar cheese shop after vomiting cheesy food so recently was incredibly nauseating, and we didn't eat cheese for a few weeks after.
Wait, so you went to Cheddar Gorge, you didn't visit Wookiee Hole?
Apparently not. So, I mean, that email might well have made the cut.
Cut that. It was crap.
Crap email.
No, you can't cut it. You can't just cut it.
Good. Period said we could.
It's a science experiment.
I'm saying you can if you like, but the point is, it's a lot of emails like that. People sending in stories of when they've been sick or shit everywhere.
Just making you aware that try not to be too Pyrian Flax sided when you read.
I don't think he is. I think we get plenty of Flax. Your take is bad. Stuff.
The anti-animal,
I don't think he...
the Pyrian Flax. Global not traveler.
I think you're
global
crazy.
Coward.
I'm not dodging those emails. I've read a bunch of them out.
Okay, all right.
Half the fucking emails that we read out are people calling me out for shit.
Yeah,
quite frankly.
it is honestly. I don't think he shies away from the ones that call him out. In fact, I find he relishes having a fight with them through the podcast sometimes.
Precisely.
That's true. This is true. Okay, so go on with this South Africa one. Go on then.
All right, here we go. This is. I said nothing about South Africa. I believe. I just said I didn't fancy going to Africa because it's got similar wildlife issues.
Yeah.
This guy just says, I'm a 22-year-old British family who's lived in Southern Africa for upwards of 20 years. Here are some wildlife horror stories that are 100% real. Pick any you find interesting. I'm going to read them all, Jack. When living near Cape Town, it was proper practice to bring your dogs in the morning, as tribes of wild baboons would descend from the mountains to eat dogs, cats, and sometimes unattended children.
What
Jesus
the fuck?
Christ.
My grandmother's garage got invaded by a cobra after it hid in her banana tree. The locals killed it and advised her to burn it, else the bigger, madder mother snake would appear. After cooking it, she fed it to the dog. Putsy flies are flies that lay their eggs in unattended laundry and then bury into your skin, mainly your scalp, when they hatch. You have to pull them out with tweezers. My uncle walked through a line of red ants. The soldier ants attacked him. They were roughly the size of like tablets, and tens of ants latched onto him. While my grandmother had to boil them off, they invaded the house through the windows. And another scary creature are the white people. My parents boil them off. I'm just reading the email, Lulu. You can ask questions afterwards.
No, can you just like give us a moment of process before moving on to the next horror story?
No,
like,
the next one is also interesting, and then we can revisit.
Dear Sir / Madam, I'd like to cancel my trip to South Africa on the following basis. Okay, what was the first one?
It was living near Cape Town, the baboons that will eat dogs, cats, and children.
Yes. Number 1, child eating baboons.
Number 2 is the cobras hiding in the banana trees.
Oh my god, cobras in
surprise cobras.
Banana trees. I gotta put together a case to get all my money back for this trip.
Putsy flies, Putsy flies.
Fucking hell, that sounds like a nightmare.
And
I'm
red
not
ants.
sure that's not how it's spelled. It's Z-I, but
well, he said putsy
good
flies.
lord.
They're also known as mango flies.
Oh yeah, there it is, the putsy. Oh, so on Africa Travel Resource, it's TSI. On Wikipedia, it's listed as the putsy with a Z-I, as Lewis said, and this guy spells it a different way again. They look revolting.
Any bug looks pretty gross when it's zoomed in on.
But I don't want it to lay its eggs in my head. I think that's reasonable. I think that's a reasonable thing.
Ants, what were the red ants?
And the red ants was another one. Attacked a man, had to be boiled off, whatever that means.
Had to be boiled off.
Yeah, I don't know
what does that even mean?
I don't know.
What do you mean boiled
off?
I'm
just reading the emails here. It says boiled off.
They needed to jug him. Quick, jug me.
Jug him. Get the ant jug.
I'm covered in ants and now I'm covered in sticky boiling water. How has this helped?
All right, had a couple of dating app emails. I get quite a few from people sending pictures. Listen, this is an audio podcast.
Yeah, we'll only ever be able to audibly describe your image, which might not do it justice, especially if you're sending pictures of like your well-oiled bell end or whatever.
Yeah, you could describe the pictures to us, people.
Well, all right, average-looking lad sends picture. What's wrong with my profile?
Okay,
that sort of stuff. I mean, I can read you some of the stuff he's got. Let me see if I can find this one.
I'm not the fucking guy to help here, my dude. This is
here we go. He wants his name to be anonymous.
Right.
I'm writing to ask Lewis if, of all people, for dating advice.
Yeah.
He's scraping the barrel, he says.
Well, maybe if he does the opposite of what I suggest now, that might work.
Well, he says, how have you been getting dates on Hinge? I've been on the app for a while and I've had no matches. He's then sent me his profile. He's a very normal looking lad, bit skinny.
Post the picture in the chat so we can see this.
All right.
We need some context. I know that people listening won't be able to see, but we'll do our best to describe how normal this guy looks.
Yeah, so he's just a regular-looking guy. His posture is a little hunched. He's got a bit of a nerd spine curvature going
fucking hell.
on.
Oh my god, this guy's hideous. He looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
He looks like a young you, Sips.
Yeah, he does actually. Yeah, he does look a little bit like me. I don't think I'd get any hits on the dating app either. He looks fine. He looks young though. He looks like a kid.
He is young. He's got a picture of him in front of, on a rock doing a thumbs up. He's got a picture of him doing a hang loose sign in front of a painting of a frog.
Well, this picture that you just posted looks like his mom took it while he was on vacation with her. So maybe
it looks like he's in Kew Gardens and someone's taking a picture of him. That is Kew Gardens, I believe.
Right.
He's also a picture of him wearing a jacket, playing the guitar, and it says a quick rant about, and his answer is flat earthers. Seriously? I mean, come on.
Oh, I would not put that in your profile.
Right. And then there's a picture of him with giant clogs on, leaning to one side looking goofy, and it says unusual skills. I can cross one of my eyes. Not both, just one. And he's had no hits. So listen, son, I know you wanted to keep your name anonymous, so I'm not going to say it. Jazz it up a bit. You look a little bit, maybe be a little more terse in your typing. Stop being so verbose. Don't try to be funny. Favorite line from a film is "I'm your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate." It's just a bit, you know what I mean? Just keep it simple.
I feel like that's the kind of thing that somebody who recites lines from Monty Python would put. And exactly, I think that's off-putting too. People don't want to listen to people talking about Monty Python and redoing all the skits.
Also, people might think that just that you actually are that, and they might think that they're going to be incestual if they go out with you.
It's hard to understand the quote. I would say simplify it. Some new pictures. Stop hunching and don't do the thumbs up all the time.
He's not hunching. He's a nice-looking guy.
He's just a really normal-looking guy, though.
But I can see some gamer spine curvature there. I'm just saying.
No,
yeah.
He looks fine. Well, how is he going to fix that either?
He's had no matches. Do you want help, or do you want me to just say everything's fine? The brother has had no matches, so we can either say you're doing great, keep it up, champ, and lie to him, or we can give him some fucking help.
All right.
He's come to you for help, and you're telling him everything is fine. It's not fine. The boy's had no matches. Help the man. Say something.
Okay. God, pull yourself together.
There you go.
And don't give up.
Lower
your standards. I think we might need to cover this from a different angle. I think he might have too high standards. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna send an email and say, have you just tried meeting somebody in real life, like the one that Flax got about,
like the one on the boat?
Have you tried changing your ISP, like the most obvious one?
Changing your ISP.
I am a hot woman, and I meet hot men. I meet men all the time in real life.
I know why people do it now. Because my knee-jerk reaction to all this was, well, just meet somebody in real life. That's the easiest way to solve this problem, right? Just meet somebody.
But you've never done that in real life.
And I think the reason why people offer up these really obvious, simple solutions is because their brain just gets immediately overloaded with shit that's nothing to do with them. And they just think, I don't even really want to think about this. This is such a huge problem for someone else. So I'm just going to bow out of it by saying, "Oh, just get rich, see ya." You know what I mean? Like, I see why people do it now. It's taken all of this to get me to this point, but I feel enlightened now. So
bear in mind that this guy has asked for help, right? So he has specifically asked us.
Well,
we're not unsolicited messaging him and saying,
"No,
here's what you should do, mate." He's asking for help from a dating god, Lewis Brindley.
Yeah, who gets like so many dates.
He's slaying posts left, right, and center.
I feel like for me and Flax, our whole view of online dating is skewed because we're with Lewis, who gets dates all the damn time. Like your phone must just be like pinging constantly, Lewis. Like, is it just on vibrate and it's like vibrating off the table and stuff all the time? Like, because you're getting so many hits. Because, like, you have a tremendous amount of luck on these things compared to some people.
Wow. Well, I mean, I don't know whether that's true.
You know, you're gaming the game out there, aren't you? You know how the algorithm works, and you're capitalizing off of it.
I've been on it for a while now, so I have learned things.
Right.
That is actually for sure. And especially going on dates with people. The first couple of dates I went on with people were just absolutely awful.
Right.
Because I was just like shy and awkward and didn't really know what the hell was. But I think also I was worried about it a lot. Like, I think there's this thing where because you get so few dates, right, on these things, or you get so few matches, you get it into your head that you have this scarcity sort of mentality sets in where you're like, oh, I have to make the most of this one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or like, oh, I have to really impress this person at a date. Whereas like it's not, therefore that kind of like taints it all a bit, and makes it all a bit weird and awkward and stressful and like unpleasant. Whereas I think if you don't care, like I kind of, if you're not actually, I think it's worse if you're horny, basically. If you're going on there being like, God, I need to find a woman right now, that's like the worst way to approach these things.
Do you think that the majority of people on there are just really horny?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, so many people are, but and they can't control it. But since I realized that I hated the apps and stopped using them completely and turned off all notifications, turned off everything, I've gone on there like once every month or whatever and chatted to a few people.
God, being really horny is weird though, isn't it? Have you ever just been like so out of control horny, like you just don't even know what to do with yourself?
Yeah.
It's fucking...
every day.
Right.
Look, young fella, you may not want a date because this is an email called Comedy Show Date Disaster from Sam. And this is even if you get the date, you might end up with something like this. This is a reasonable story. So here we go. This is not a first date, but a third date story. I'd recently broken up with my long-term girlfriend, was trying to get back into the dating scene. Match with a girl seemed fun, showed quite a few red flags during the first 2 dates. But my thirsty ass decided to utterly barrel past these. For a third date, she suggested going to a small pub to watch some up-and-coming comedy acts. I was slightly anxious, as I'm not brilliant if I get picked on, but I'm sure I could just melt into the crowd, right? It was quite an intimate setting, 40 chairs packed in, tiny stage practically resting on the front row, and the date insisted that we sit at the front, as she claimed. I am amazing at comedy shows because I always give as good as I get, which is not a good sign.
That is a bad...
This
a
did
huge
not
red
allay
flag.
my anxiety. Each comedian only got a tight 4 minutes to do their set, and the first few acts went by blessedly uneventfully. She did, however, seem to think there was an audience participation after every joke, and would try to heckle the comedian, much to the irritation of people around us. Luckily, we're British, so no one said anything, and the tuts were easy to ignore. Cue the third to last act. After his very first joke and her inevitable comments, he looked at her and said, "All right, love, calm down." This must have touched a nerve as she squared up to him and said, "Don't come at me, because I'll reply 10 times funnier." They then proceeded proceeded to argue with each other while the rest of the audience and myself awkwardly sat there and stared daggers her and my way. After some back and forth, the compere came out to let the comedian know he had a minute left. He tried to get on with his set, but whenever he talked, she would loudly say, "Go on, make me laugh." What seemed like decades later, his time was up and he forlornly walked off the stage.
Oh my God.
The last 2 acts are a blur as I retreated into my happy place and pretended I was anywhere but there. Safe to say there wasn't a fourth date. And the icing on the cake, a week after I ended things, I started getting calls from random numbers claiming they'd found my keys. Turns out, as her curtain call, she'd put a large number of individual keys with my name and number on all across London. So for the next few months, I kept getting calls from good citizens trying to return them. Lewis, please don't ignore red flags.
Fucking hell.
What a nut.
Oh my God.
What a
This
nut.
is, everyone be safe out there. Don't put your dick in crazy. That was the
Who said
was the
that?
old adage.
Who said that?
That was the old. That's like the old wisdom. That's like
It was Eddie Murphy or Chris Rock or
No,
someone
no,
said that,
it
right?
my
was,
mum told me that.
No, it was Isaac Newton.
Isaac, of course, yes. One of the founding fathers.
Yeah, when he signed the Declaration of Independence,
Yes.
he wanted to put that in there.
He wanted to get that in writing, yeah. Oh, shit.
Before we continue, if you're going online without a VPN, it's like using your smartphone without a protective case. Most of the time, it's probably fine, but the other day I did take my case off and drop my phone in the road, so make of that what you will. I use ExpressVPN at home. I recommend it each time you connect to an unsecured or unencrypted network in cafes, hotels, airports. Your online data is vulnerable. Any hackers on that network can gain access to and steal your personal data, your passwords, your financial details. It doesn't take much technical knowledge to get this, and your data is valuable. Hackers can make up to $1,000 per person selling personal information on the dark web. That is a real thing. You can just use ExpressVPN. I do. I have it on my home computer. You can fire it up. It's one click. It works on laptops, phones. You can even put it on your router. And they have supported Triforce Podcast for a long time. So big fan of ExpressVPN. Thank you very much. It makes me feel secure online for sure. So you can secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/Triforce. That's expressvpn.com/Triforce. And you get an extra 3 months for free. expressvpn.com/Triforce. On with the show.
This is from Ethan. Listen, this is an Australia email, but bear with me. This is not related to what the current topics of Australia have been. This is different. Hi, first of all, I want to say I've been listening since I was 14. You shouldn't be doing that, young fella. Now 20.
Jesus.
You three have instilled me with a lot of wisdom throughout the past 7 years. Good God.
Oh, no.
I grew up in a small town in South Australia renowned for its opal mining industry and being one of the hottest places in the country.
Yes.
Isn't this Alice Springs? Is that right?
No. The God, I saw someone go there on a Cooper
I think it was
Pedy,
Tom
it's
Scott,
called.
was it? Oh,
Cooper Pedy.
Cooper Pedy. It's 35 degrees Celsius average. That's the average temperature. It's very
a
arid.
mental place.
And the
It's a
majority of
mental
the
place.
locals live underground, including myself, when I was a child until I moved to Sydney. How would you feel about the idea of living underground for a significant part of your life? And what are your thoughts on embracing a subterranean lifestyle?
Well, you are talking to multiple people who've played video games for the largest part of their life.
Yeah,
I was
mostly
basically
in a basement in North America as well. So yeah, I think I'm qualified to sort of stride in here and say it's not great, honestly. Like you develop deficiencies for sure. You need some fresh air and sun every once in a while, and of course exercise. And I think I'd be miserable. I as much as I don't really go outside, I do like being outside. I like having the option of going outside. Like I like just being like in my backyard and stuff, you know? Like I wouldn't want to just be underground all the time.
That's fair.
That's all I got to say.
This is an interesting one. I don't think I would mind it too much. As long as it was like an underground place that had tunnels. I love ants, so I could pretend to be an ant.
What if it had no internet?
Well, why would I live there?
Sorry, you love ants?
I love ants. The idea of living in a big ant.
Is this code or something? Are you trying to like speak to somebody through?
No, I like ants.
Yeah, I get it, but like, what the fuck?
What are you telling us?
Yeah, what are you?
What am I telling you? They're a fascinating animal.
So one of those South African stories was actually good for you.
I would have been interested to see the ants.
I'd love to be covered in ants.
Something somewhere has exploded off the back of that of you saying that.
I like ants. What can I say? They're really
Wait for the sign. You'll know it when you hear it.
I love them. I got into them when I was in school. I had to, in biology, we had to study ants, and I was like, yeah, I'd love it. I think it's called a formicarium, like a thing that you keep ants in. Some guy was complaining either in an email or chat or a Twitch chat the other day, saying that he went to a zoo and British zoos are shit because all they have are ants. And I was like, I love ants. Like I love going to the exhibit where you watch them going about their work, collecting food, making
in an ant farm, like the little side view ant
farms. Yeah, it's
farms.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
No, I get
it.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Yeah,
I watched them for ages. So yes, I do like ants. I know that's insane, but I do.
What was the story?
The guy that lived underground.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot like probably it's fine. I think people. It's not like he's not aware that there's electricity and TVs and stuff. Do you know what I mean? You have all that shit underground. You just live in a sort of built into a cave in a slightly different way.
Yeah,
I feel nice and secure. I'd like that. You know,
you would,
fire
but I
hazard
think
is low.
I think you'd occasionally feel like a sense of dread though as well, right? Like if you couldn't just get out once in a while.
Well, look, I do get claustrophobic. I hate the idea of being in really enclosed space.
Really enclosed space. But I mean, if you're living underground,
yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all.
But what was that movie? I think I went to see it with you, Lewis. It was like that. It was that one with John Goodman where he's a huge prepper and.
It's like something. It's a follow up to that one about the giant monsters.
Yeah, and they got to live in
Cloverfield Lane, or
they got to live in basically an underground house, and it's like cozy enough, right? It's fine, but like you would go stir crazy after a while. I think the only way I'd survive down there is if I had access to games and I would just completely detach myself from reality and just play even more video games than I do at the moment, right?
Right.
Well, I do think about this. I feel like there's enough books and movies and TV shows in the last 40 years or whatever that I reckon I could just keep going. If I was like, locked in, as long as I had a big enough shelf of games and DVDs, I reckon I could. It's because people say, you get bored going to Mars or whatever. I'd be like, I reckon there's enough shit. Like, it's a little bit like being in a bunker, being stuck on a Mars flight for 20 years or whatever. Or,
6 months.
and I think being in go to Alpha Centauri though, or
Oh
whatever.
God.
In a big old generation ship.
Oh God. So you spend your whole life on there?
How many light years away is Alpha Centauri?
I think Alpha Centauri is 2.5. I could be wrong. Someone will write in, I'm sure. But I think it's 2.5
that's not that
to the
far.
nearest. Oh, that's Proxima Centauri, I think, which is the closest, right?
I think
Is it Proxima that's got the...
No, I think Alpha Centauri is the closest. It's the triple star. It's the three-body problem. Have you seen the trailer for the three-body problem?
No, I haven't.
Have you seen the big ring in space and the big wall as well?
I'm ready to be.
Yeah.
I heard this morning that there was a news that there's a mega structure in space, and I looked it up, and it's like, well, it's not structure, it's just a bunch of stars.
Yeah.
They're in a slightly ring-shaped system, and I was like, oh, that's disappointing.
Well, I mean, it's for a start, this ring, along with the one that's called I don't know what it's called, like the blade or the line or whatever it's called. Either way, it's 1.5 or something like 2.5 billion light years across. Like these are not close.
They
together.
finally created a telescope that's able to capture my penis in its entirety.
It's 12.5 billion light years across.
It's huge.
But it's interesting because it goes against what they assumed the universe would look like, right? The
but everyone's
rules
constantly doing this, though.
No, of course, but it's still interesting. It is still interesting.
It's not as interesting as an actual ring world or something,
right? I mean, when they call it a structure, I guess that's the way cosmologists refer to the shape.
I don't think that's the proper term. I don't think that's the term.
It felt weird to me to use it.
I'm uncomfortable with that term. I think I've been playing too much Stellaris.
Right.
Yeah.
This is advice for dating apps guy from a woman.
Right.
Okay? This email comes from a woman. Stop calling us females. We aren't animals. I think that is a very, very good piece of solid advice. Don't refer to women as females.
I don't think I've ever used. I think that's a Friday night dinner joke, though.
Females? No, people do it. Have you not been online lately?
Any luck with the females?
Any luck with the females? Yeah. No, they do refer to females. It's ludicrous. I think it's dehumanizing, and maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's what you want.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, ladies.
I like dating ladies.
All right, girls. All right,
I like dating
women. Yeah, you could try this.
I don't know. Like, where's
women. I think it's just the
the
tone you say it in the sentence makes a difference.
Well,
fucking hell.
But what's the right word? Sorry,
well,
that I'm using females.
Females. I think you just generally want to refer to them as I normally say ladies. All right, ladies. Maybe, or girls, or girls, or,
I don't think girls
put on a funny voice. Depends how old they are, how drunk they are.
Girls.
I had this.
Girls.
This guy was ahead of me. I went to the grocery store the other day, and this old guy with his wife. This guy was like in his 80s, for sure. Like he was pretty damn old. Like, and his wife was too. And the woman at the till was like fairly young, like probably middle aged. I mean, in comparison to this guy, and they were packing up their groceries and chatting and stuff, and he was just saying like, oh, the weather and Happy New Year and stuff, and then he like leant in, got like right in this woman's face, and was like, oh, if it wasn't so busy, I'd give you your New Year's kiss. And he was like really, really laughing, like, but like it was creepy. And his wife was also kind of laughing, and it was creepy. And I just thought, God, that is really fucking weird.
Yeah.
What a weird thing to say to somebody. And you could tell just by how he was that, like,
he meant it.
He meant it, yeah. And it's just fucking weird, man. Like, I'd hate to be a woman, because I think the shit that they have to deal with is unbelievable.
Yeah.
From people.
Oh,
like,
no doubt.
I'll go through my whole life and never have an awkward encounter like that with another person. I'm sure of it. But if I was a woman, probably every day I would have an awkward encounter like that with the person.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, it's fucking awful.
Just meet people in real life.
yeah. I mean, that's it.
Well,
Yeah.
this is probably my favorite email of the week from Sean. I have an unusual job that means I worked on the Queen's funeral and the King's coronation,
Wow.
despite
Okay.
not being a royalist at all. In autumn last year, me and some of the folks who worked on these events were invited to a reception at Buckingham Palace. I thought you'd
Ooh.
like to know some stuff that happened. This is really interesting.
I love finding out stuff like this. Thanks.
Of course. So I got basically a royal summons with a fancy invitation with gold edging. Some people I know didn't receive their invitations despite them being delivered by the Royal Mail. So there you go.
Wow.
We went in through the front gate, which meant the tourists kept trying to join the queue thinking it was for everyone. Which,
Yeah.
I love that. From the cloakroom onwards, you are not allowed to take your phone in under pain of death. So no phones, because people would like film Prince Andrew, I guess, being creepy. The fancy reception room was a mixture of people just talking and networking, and tryhards desperate to meet a royal floating around them. It was like at Comic-Con when someone vaguely famous is in the bar afterwards, and people don't really want to go up and directly talk to them, so they kind of hover hoping something will happen.
Oh my God, this is so familiar.
I-
Yes. This is like Belle Delphine's Halloween party.
I've always joked that if I met the king, it would be great to just loudly go, "Wah!" to try and scare them and see what happens. Turns out even I got kind of swept up in the excitement. When I was corralled into my group's turn to meet the king, I got so flustered by the pressure of the situation that I involuntarily did a little bend of my knees and hoped no one noticed.
Yeah.
He shook my hand and asked my name and what I did, etc. The king was actually really nice and very knowledgeable about the field in which I work. I was impressed,
Fucking hell.
which annoyed
And what
me.
do you do?
And what
It's the
do you
classic
do?
fucking.
What do you do?
What do you do? Oh, you work in a very interesting field. Yes, I know lots of people that do that for a living, of course.
And it had all kinds of follow-up
I
questions.
always feel
filled
like
out.
every time he walks away from someone, in his mind, he's saying, "What a ghastly person! Oh, what a ghastly person! Oh."
There were photographers in the room taking photos, so they could charge £40 for a print of you with a royal after the event. In my photos, I'm either necking champagne or have my mouth open like a yob.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't leave until I'd seen the toilets, of course. A full wooden bench/seat with your typical toilet hole in it, not a plastic ring like a normal toilet. Royal crest printed on the porcelain. Toilet paper? Andrex. And when you pulled the handle to flush, it was akin to the fanciest airplane toilet ever, where the toilet water just kind of whooshes away from you almost instantly. It was like a reverse ejector seat. Bizarre. I wish I'd asked what the men's was like. We then went and got
Wow.
totally sloshed in a nearby pub, which is probably the best bit. Overall, 9 out of 10 experience. What do you think you do if invited to the palace to meet the king?
Probably the same as you. I would be nervous.
Mm.
I would be aware of people try-harding all around me. I probably think that because I was aware of other people try-harding and I wasn't try-harding, that somehow the king himself would come right up to me and want to be best friends, and then I'd be disappointed when that never happened, and I would leave slightly drunk and feel awful about myself for a couple of minutes and go to bed. That would be me. I don't know what that says about me, but I'm being honest here. That's how I would play the whole thing.
Lewis?
I've done things like this before. Fancy schmancy events in London with people, and they're fine. I'd rather be doing almost anything else, but it's quite fun to get dressed up and go and look at this old building and stand on a carpet.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going inside Buckingham Palace. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's fine, and you know, I've always surprised myself how things tend to like turn out fine. I worry though. I dread, and I'm like so super nervous. You know, you're like, oh my God, what if I because the dark urge is there in the background. You know, what if I did this really stupid thing? You know, what if I just pulled down my pants and wave my dick around?
Well, I'm sure they have people whose entire job is to anticipate that.
I want to be known as the dick waver of Buckingham Palace.
You look like a dick waver. Sorry, mate, you can't come in. The fucking beefies will be on you in a second.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, I think, but you know, everyone always assumes the worst.
It's
Certainly-
weird when you're
but-
around people in a pecking order, though. Like especially with something like that has such a strict hierarchy. You know, like where depending on what job you do and how high up and how much access you have to the people that own the property or whatever, people lose their minds around that kind of stuff, don't they? Like people just act really, really weird. It's odd.
I tell
isn't
you
it?
what I've found. Okay, here's my thing. I have been fairly awkward to a lot of celebrities, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Back in the day, the first main celebrity I met was, I think, like back in the day, this is like 2011, 2010. People that I knew of and were fans of, like Dead Mouse or like Chris Metz and people like this, right?
Yeah.
And when I meet these people, and I've met lots of people over the years as well from, you know, various events, you know, because sometimes we're at Comic-Con and someone comes into the back room, it's like, I don't know, Felicia Day or someone else or someone who I've known for a long time. Other YouTubers too. It's how sometimes you will say something awkward to them and they will just look at you like you're a piece of filth.
Yeah.
And you're like, but that was funny. Like Kyle Walker, for example. Like when I met him, I was awkward with
here
him.
we go.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Fucking unbelievable.
he was a kind of a cunt about it, right? But and that kind of, whereas other people make like kind of like want to join in on the joke, or they want to make it awkward as well, or they want to make light of it, or they understand, like they kind of, I don't know, like some people are better at putting you at ease.
Yeah.
And I've always felt like that's something that when I meet people, the last thing I want to do is leave them thinking they were awkward, or they'd embarrassed themselves in some way, or do you know what I mean? Like if someone came over to me and like, I don't know, just fucking fell in the mud, the last thing I would be doing is like laughing at them or like staring them down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
geez, you know, it's just human nature. You don't want to see someone, if you're a perfectly decent person, the last thing you want to see is someone having a terrible time. When you see someone really struggling, whether it's with embarrassment or something, I mean, we've all had this. You go to an event and someone's meeting someone there like a player. I've seen people meet pro players at Dota events and they can literally barely speak. They're so nervous. And you feel terrible for them. Like, you want to help them out, make this easier for them so it's a better experience, and just save them from this moment. I think that's a perfectly normal reaction.
Yeah. But the pecking order that I was talking about, it like exists in that too, where I feel like with some of these people, they don't want to talk to people that they think like either they don't know or they think are beneath them, right? They're looking to talk to people that are like above them. So they're angling to get in with people that are bigger than them, you know, because that's who they want to talk to, and that's who they'll open up with and be nice to or whatever. And everyone else is just like scum, you know, like, oh,
yeah, well,
fuck,
they're
I don't want to speak
assholes,
to
aren't
them.
they?
Yeah. But I think this is a really common thing though. Like I think it's like a human thing, right? Like we tend to gravitate towards people that we think are better than ourselves or whatever.
Yeah, you want to see and meet cool people,
and you don't want to waste your time talking to people that you think are not that. You know,
when you meet someone that that's famous or you know of, you are nervous, right? And certainly, if I met King Charles, there's be no way that my heart would be pounding.
Oh my god, yeah!
And when that happens, you kind of just go into autopilot, right? And it might well be that you say something awkward or you don't really mean or whatever, and then or say something and it's like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Do you know what I mean? And then suddenly, you know, it's up to that person that you're meeting whether they decide to turn their nose up at you or join you in the joke or move on immediately and shun you. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I've had all of those different experiences. You know, I've had people, you know, grab my hand and laugh along with me and be like, I think what you mean is this, you know, or whatever. Or like, and I've had the opposite of that, you know, people be rude to me or, you know, aloof. And I get it. Like I can see it from both sides. And so
I think I think deep down though, everybody wants to feel somewhat important, right? And I think if you meet somebody, you like, I know, like even myself, like in this case, like if I was going to meet like King Charles, you know, I'd have a word with myself and I'd just say nice to meet you or whatever. But like, I wouldn't be able to just say nice to meet you. I'd have to say like, oh, it's really nice to meet you or something like that. You know, like I'd always feel like I'd have to like push it a little bit sort of thing. And it wouldn't make any difference whatsoever. But
yeah, situationally,
it's
if
weird,
I'm meeting him at a dinner where he's been invited to meet people, that's different to me crawling in his bedroom at night.
That is very
like,
different.
Hello, King Charles, how are you doing? You know what I mean?
Hello.
He was really rude to me.
I slithered in your window.
So I think like there is a difference there. Like if someone's tried to flag me down in the street and I've not noticed you, it's because it doesn't happen enough and I've not blanked you or something. Because I'm not like I'm too famous for you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that. It's that I didn't expect it or I wasn't prepared for it. You know.
Fair.
I don't put my makeup on every day when I go out, you know, so
no,
I'm not always looking my best. God,
I sometimes forget to wear my track pants when I go out.
Sometimes forget to put clothes on entirely.
It's getting to the point where I'm like, like I don't even want to go outside.
It's weird though, the whole celebrity thing. I'm trying to think. I haven't really met anyone I've met like YouTube famous people, but like I still don't really class them the same. I know they kind of are the same now, I guess, but I've never I don't think I've ever met like a big Hollywood star or, you know, like the King or somebody like really super mainstream, well known. You know what I mean? Like I've met like different YouTubers and stuff, but like I don't know. I always feel like with YouTubers, like they were normal people first, whereas like with some of these people, like the King, he's never been a normal person, really, right? Like he's completely just lives in a galaxy of his own.
But also, I think it's to
I
do
live
with
in a bubble, a Dutchy bubble.
This bubble is made of gold. It's
Golden
actually
bubble.
crystal.
But and
Crystalline
it's the
bubble.
same to some extent with big Hollywood stars too. Like if you met somebody like Tom Cruise or something, you know what I mean? Like somebody that's been famous for a really long time and been exceedingly wealthy for a very long time.
yeah,
It's
those
different,
people
right?
who've experienced it in a very different way.
They're not really like us.
Well, but equally, it's about who's famous to you. You know, I would certainly be very embarrassed around some smaller
Yeah.
YouTubers or
Maybe
people that
not so
I've-
much nowadays because it's been around for a while, but certainly back in the day, if you met somebody that was famous on YouTube, it's very much like, okay, 5 minutes ago you were me, you were a basement dweller, and now you're famous, right? Like they were so freshly famous that it's different. It was different to meet them. They just still felt very much like normal people, but
Right.
like your PewDiePies and stuff probably are a lot different now that they've been famous and wealthy for the best part of a decade plus. Maybe it's a little bit different.
I guess what I'm trying to do here is like turn the onus around. So if you met someone and you had a bad experience meeting them, that's not your fault for being awkward or ruining it somehow. That's kind of their fault for being.
I guarantee
you
you the
know-
King knows how to make people feel comfortable.
Well,
He
yeah,
meets
obviously.
people for a living. Everyone that meets the King is like, holy shit, it's the King.
Yeah,
Like one of the most famous people in the fucking world.
yeah.
The King.
They
The
kind of
Queen
have
was
to master the art
incredibly
of
famous.
small talk as well, because
Of
they
course,
do
set
it
you
all
at
the damn
ease.
time. Yeah.
And also, I don't think it's possible to have an awkward conversation with someone whose entire job is meeting new people. I really think they're experts at making you feel at ease and being polite and
Yeah.
being knowledgeable. And they're very good at just saying, like, having this trivial knowledge about everybody's jobs. You can always ask a question about something
Yeah.
and seem interested. And then people come away, like Sean did, saying, actually, he was really nice. It's like, that's his whole job. So, of course, he's going to
I have a friend, like a childhood friend, like who I'm still in touch with, who's always been like that since we were kids. He's always been like that. Like he's just always so easy to talk to. And I think his trick is, and I don't think this is something that he ever even thinks about, it's just naturally the way he is, but I think his trick is that I think he's genuinely interested to know the answer, but he just asks a lot of questions, but they're not
That's
prying
a big
questions,
thing. Yeah, people don't ask a lot of questions.
It's like the
People
art of
will talk.
conversation. You make it about the other person and you'll just get the best results, right? Because everyone wants to talk about themselves.
It's true. There is one problem with that. I know quite a few people who do that, and you think, wow, they're so easy to talk to, but you don't know them.
No.
I think you need to balance it out.
Yeah.
Any good friendship, you should be asking as many questions as you're answering. Really, you should both be interested in each other. And I think certainly, like, whenever we chat or hang out, I think we're always talking. I know when I was down in Bristol, me and Lulu went out for lunch, and it was a really good conversation. It wasn't like just one of us yapping away, because just listening is also kind of frustrating. Sometimes people need that.
Yeah.
You just want to talk to you and you just listen, you're just there for them. But a lot of the time you should both be talking and interested in each other because you're actual friends. So I think that's a big part of it for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking
definitely.
of awkward, this is let's finish with this one. This one made me laugh. This is funny police colleague.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
It's all right.
It's okay.
This is called funny police colleague. So this guy, he's worked as an officer for 12 years across London boroughs. And this guy, he's worked for 7 years. This officer has worked for 12 years in various boroughs. He's been moved teams at least 4 times. We'll call him Dave. He's laughably incompetent and lazy, unintentionally comical, and lives on a completely different planet to everyone else. Here are some stories of things Dave did at work as a police officer. So Dave, as a copper, sat in the canteen with 2 kilograms of monkey nuts whilst everyone else ate hot food. He spent the time cracking the monkey nut shells into his police hat upside down on the desk.
Nice.
After
Nice.
finishing, he emptied the shells from the hat into the bin, then just plonked the hat on his head and left. He later took it off to reveal monkey nut detritus all over his bald head.
Yes, this is something that like you'd see on a telly on
On telly.
yeah,
telly.
on telly.
It's
like
true.
something. It's like a story
Like a
that
comedy
people would,
character.
they would add. Yeah, they put that in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, wouldn't they? For sure.
So this is things Dave did while I was giving a death message. So you have to go to the house. He was telling a mother that her adult son had died. So that's what this copper is there doing, and Dave is with him. So this is what Dave did whilst the guy was giving this appalling message. Interrupted me to ask what breed of dog they have. made himself a glass of orange juice from their fridge, went out to the car and retrieved his tablet charger, then asked a crying mother if he could be a bit cheeky and plug his tablet in,
Fucking
and
hell.
stood up and sat back down again 7 times throughout the conversation, and his only vocal contribution was to repeat 4 times that life is unpredictable.
Oh my god.
This guy says unbelievable.
Life is unpredictable.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Do you mind if I'm a bit cheeky and just charge me tablet? And your colleague is there telling this mother that her adult son has died. You're like, what kind of dog is that? It's like, Dave, shut the fuck up. Like, what is wrong with this guy? I think he should probably just be a traffic police officer. Just make him do traffic stuff. Don't get him to talk to people.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Isn't it funny though that I assume people have training to do this, to break the bad news?
Yeah,
you have to. Yeah,
but we've seen it so much on telly, right? In TV shows and movies and things, right? I wonder how much I know movies have a big influence on the way people act and behave and feel they should in certain circumstances as well. And it almost can inform the way we do things like ceremonies and things. You know, they're very inspired by this idea that we have from media, right? And drama and stories. And I wonder how good that actually is. You know, what is the best thing to do when breaking the bad news to someone? You know, is it to do it in the same way of, I've got some bad news, would you like to go sit down and shall I come through and sit down? And they're like, oh no, is it Michael? Is he dead? Would you like to take a seat?
He got
darling,
eaten by baboons.
fucking hell.
And then ants.
And then bugs nest in your head.
And then we tried to get the ants off with
skull.
boiling water.
That made it worse. Baboons finished him off.
Like, we loved it. The smell. It smelled like cooking.
And then a
pork,
cobra
pork,
came out of a
pork.
banana tree and bit him just to make sure.
Right on the knob.
Yeah. Anyway, can I charge my tablet, please? If you don't mind.
What kind of dog is that?
Why are
It's
there
a funny
peanut
looking
detritus
fucking
all
dog.
over my sofa? Don't mind Dave. Don't mind Dave. He loves a nut.
Yeah.
It cuts back to the sergeant's office with Dave sitting there. Gonna need
I
you.
need your gun in your badge, Dave.
Oh, fine. I can manage one.
All right. This is the final word on Australia.
Right.
All right. I'm hoping this is a peaceful end.
Let's
to
end
conversation.
this. Yeah.
Let's bury this.
This is from Macca, extending the Australian olive branch.
Yeah.
G'day, gentlemen. My name's Josh, but everyone calls me Macca down under. Being 22,
Good
the
day.
Yogscast and Triforce podcast have always been there for me, with Flax being my favourite member for his unforgiving and hilarious takes on anything that dared get in his way. Oh, cheers, bud. Therefore, when Australia came in his sights, I was in a bloody pickle. Initially, I wanted to suggest to him that the doctor performing his vasectomy must have cut his balls off completely, but sounder minds prevailed. I must say I wasn't thrilled with the hate Flax copped in its verbosity. However, I know he would have defended his home in a similar manner, so fair's fair. Here's the deal. Is it dangerous? Yes. But 9 out of 10, it's because you put yourself in a shitty situation. Spider sharks, you name it, we've got it. But I'd argue as us Aussies either know how to deal with them or we just avoid them. Most often than not, if someone is getting fucked sideways by the wildlife on TV, it's a foreigner or a complete idiot fucking around. Don't annoy them, and they won't annoy you. Kind of like us, I suppose, if your mailbag has anything to go by. Is it worth the 10-hour plus flights? Depends on you. I'm obviously biased with being a lucky individual, and having seen much of the world, I've never felt safer and more welcome than when I travel within Australia. And that's not just because I'm from here. Every city has something to offer, from the cultural urban hubs like Sydney, Melbourne, and Tassie, while others have beaches, sun, and fascinating glimpses of wildlife like Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide. Also, being a city built upon immigration from all over the world, each city is really an amazing place for food, art, and people and culture. Plus, being so far away from the rest of you lot, the whole world, kind of gives me comfort when all the crazy wars and politics shit goes down. And 10 hours into the scheme of your thousands of gaming hours combined really shouldn't be a concern, for Christ's sake.
True.
Now that I'm here in the email, I realise I'm not trying to convince you to come here, but rather just trying to be a good bloke, standing up for my country and telling any Aussie Flax haters that it's time to cool those bloody jets. I'm going to continue listening to the podcast from the place I'm proud to call home. And if that's not good enough for Flax to consider coming down under, that's all good, my fellow Aussies. He'll just never know what he's missing, and we'll leave it at that. Cheers again.
That's a great
email.
way to end it. We'll bury this one in a underground waterproof tarantula cage.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah. Well, with the heating on full.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. That was some nice emails. It's nice to. I hope everyone's doing all right out there.
Yeah.
And I
Stay,
know this
stay
is a season
warm if
where
you're in the UK.
it's the worst. It's the worst time of year.
It's going to be
honestly.
cold. January and February suck. It is what it is.
I've been feeling like shit lately, for sure. There's a lot of pressure this time of year with like New Year's resolutions and other people saying you should do certain things or not do certain things.
Have you guys failed all your resolutions yet?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, of course.
Good job.
I wanked off 10 times today.
Oh my god. Only 10? What a lightweight.
You must have done some of those while we were recording the podcast. No wonder he wasn't listening a minute ago. Fuck me.
Oh god. All right. Well, I took the tone down. We were all wholesome for a second.
We appreciated it. Nice one.
All right.
All right.
See
Good
you next
stuff.
time,
Keep the
everyone.
emails coming. Thank you.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
Look after each other.
Yeah.
Be good to each other.
Peace.
Be good. All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
We love you. Bye. Bye. Bye.